Audio's on.
All right, well then, I will call to order this meeting of the Park City Board of Education. Right about 2:35 on the 7th of April, we will begin with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The board will now move into closed session for the purpose of a strategy session to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation and to discuss the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual or personnel.
Sure.
I need a motion, please, Treasurer. Can I get a motion, please, to close?
I will move into closed session.
Second. Wonderful. Susan?
Second, third. Susan over.
Kathleen?
Kathleen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's correct.
And
Yes.
wonderful.
We are gonna start. We're live. Okay, great, wonderful. Thank you all for being here. We're gonna get started with our Summit County Health Department. Bill Bonneron, and who did you bring with you? Friends? You're gonna sit back there, okay?
Do you want us to sit back? No, you can join us. He's just there for moral support.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for having us. Phil will be watching from the background and able to support us as needed. I'm Kendra Babbitts. I'm the Deputy Director of the Health Department, and this is Nancy Porter. She's our epidemiologist at the Health Department. And we are excited to be here, so thank you for having us, because this is the last two efforts of the last 2 years of efforts in the Health Department. And so this has been a long time coming, and I'm sure a lot of you have been involved in this in lots of different ways. And we are excited to present these results to you today. So we have our community health assessment and our community health improvement plan. So grounded in the data from our community health assessment that many of you participated in 2024, we were able to meet with our community stakeholders and to develop the community health improvement plan, which will guide the health department's efforts to make an impact in the community for public health over the next 5 years. So we are really excited to present the findings of the community health assessment to you and what our roadmap looks like over the next 5 years. So Nancy will kick us off with our community health assessment.
All right, thanks. So Kendra gave us a really good background. The community health assessment is commonly referred to as a CHAW. You may remember seeing our survey in the mail. Maybe you ran into it at a community event or participated in one of our focus groups. I hope this logo up here looks a little familiar. We wanted to make sure that this work was recognizable throughout the community when we started, so that when that survey did come to you in the mail, you knew what we were talking about. We had seen us around town. We also have another mascot up here, Chippy. It's a mascot that we created, kind of a mix of Schoolhouse Rock and Clippy from Microsoft of, how to make a chaw into a chip. And it was a great way to explain the process, remove some of the jargon, and make sure that everyone in our work group was on the same page. Chippy's been in quite a few different videos that I've put together. One of them's on our website that you can look at now. Well, Kendra will give us a little preview a little bit later, but he's just a way to explain what a CHAW is, what a chip is, and what are some of these public health jargon terms that we're talking about with upstream drivers of health and things like that. And so he really walks you through the entire process and where we ended. So we'll be chippy today, I guess. So the community health assessment and the CHIP report, they're not just reports, they're really community tools and a shared roadmap for improving health. CHAW is a systematic process that's used by lots of local health departments and hospitals to do these, collect data and analyze it for the health of our community. Typically, these are done about every 5 years. I believe hospitals do them every 3 years. And this was our first real comprehensive one that we did in 2024. Part of it also included a survey that we had over 1,700 responses for the survey as part of our CHAW. The CHIP is the long-term actionable plan. It takes the data that we gathered in the CHAW and turns it into action. So it's what we found out all this information, now what do we do about it? And it's really just a way to set some priorities, goals, and strategies for like the next 5 years. There are really two parts of the same cycle. The CHAW asks, what do we need? And the CHIP says, what are we going to do about it? On this timeline, you can see like this has really been about 2.5 years of work that we've put in to get to this point. Kicking things off in 2024 with the CHAW survey, and then we put it onto a report and we finalized it, started sharing it with our partners to help people inform their work. We collected so much information about Summit County and from its residents. We really want people to be able to use this information. And then we worked with our partners to develop our community health improvement plan. We put together the CHIP work group and had 40 partners from different organizations help us identify what we want to do about it. So now we're in the implementation phase. We're really starting to do the priorities that we talked about. We identified all these priorities. Now we just need to work on them. And then we'll kind of do the process over again and make sure that we are learning from our mistakes and from what we've gathered and keep moving forward with this. So it is a cycle. So why do we do this? It helps us really look beyond what's loudest and understand what's driving health in Summit County. Summit County is a unique spot. We need our own data to tell our story. We don't want to rely on assumptions or outside comparisons. And as a health department, it's our responsibility to understand the needs of the people that we serve. The CHOG gives us a great foundation for that. It's also a great baseline for us to track our progress and where we're going and really help use this as a resource for the community. This isn't just the health department's data. There were so many other people involved to help us collect all this information, put the report together. And it's not just health information that's in here. There's lots of other data points and questions that we asked, and still so much that we haven't tapped into, but we really want the community to be able to use this information. So we use multiple data sources, not just one data source tells the whole story. The census and health data, along with some of our surveillance data, it tells us who lives here, what are the major health trends, and how we compare to the state and national benchmarks as well. We looked at factors like housing, jobs, air quality, food access, transportation. There were so many different topics that we really covered that we looked at. You know, what we did, you know, these focus groups helped give us more context to just data points. We got a little more about the why behind some of these things, along with open-ended questions in the survey. It really brought more context to a lot of it. And it really brought those lived experiences in so we could see some of those barriers that might be in place. And then we saw the same theme across a lot of these data sources. So we knew not one was more right than the other, but we really saw the whole story throughout all of it. So the survey was one of the highlights of this CHA report. A lot of work went into it. Here you see pictures of me all over town trying to get people to take my survey, and it worked. We had 1,700 responses. I did a statistical power analysis to see how many people we actually needed to take our survey to make sure that I wasn't just guessing, I wasn't just pulling out a number. And the goal was 1,000, we got 70% more. So 1,700 was really, really great. And it gives a strong representative sample across gender, ethnicity, geography. About 65% of the residents have lived here for 10 years or more that responded to our survey. So we got a really nice mix of people who've been here for quite a while and those who may be a little more newer. And about 44% of our respondents were from Park City. And we really had someone, well, not someone, but more than one person from every zip code answer the survey. So we really got a nice sample from not just Park City, but North Summit and South Summit as well. We had really strong participation from our Hispanic community. This is a huge thanks to our partnership with People's Health Clinic and helping us get the word out about the survey. Our survey was available in English and Spanish and paper online. It was every variation you could think of. But overall, we had about 12% participation with the Hispanic community and 16% in Park City. So we had a really nice representative sample there. The survey covered lots of topics, climate change, preparedness, sense of community. We asked questions about access to care, discrimination. It wasn't just those traditional health questions that you think of. We didn't include any behavioral health or mental health questions. I'm not sure if anyone has taken it, but our behavioral health department has their own survey that they do every 2 years. They just finished one up, so I hope some of you guys took that.
Yes, I did.
So we didn't want to duplicate efforts. They were already doing this. They have great data. So why would we ask the same questions? We really wanted to make sure that we were being mindful of that. So here's a few of the results that we found. We asked the question, what do you think makes Summit County a healthy community? And we had a whole list, and here's kind of the top 10 factors that came out of here. Access to trails and parks and outdoor recreation was number one, overall, along with Park City. And number two across the board for everyone was the safe neighborhoods and our clean environment. Those were top priorities for everyone. And, you know, I think here, those are things that we think of that make us healthy, but in traditional health sense, those aren't, you know, it's more of the built environment that's around us and those social drivers of health. And I think it makes sense that we saw this and hearing about these and that they aren't clinical. I mean, we see some clinical factors on here of access to healthcare and things like that, but here in Summit County and in Park City, everyone, you know, the healthiest factor that we have is our access to the outdoor recreation. So we asked the counterpart too. So what do you think needs improvement in Summit County? And I'm not sure these are much of a surprise. We have affordable housing as number one across the board. And elder care options was number two overall, and in Park City along with South Summit. And this makes sense. We have an aging population. Our age group of 65 to 85 is the largest growing age group in Summit County, and that's not going to slow down. So we are going to see more of these elder care options being an option and a priority that we need to set. And affordable food options, that was another thing that showed up. These are all social drivers of health that are showing up as things that need improvement. And it was very consistent relatively throughout the county of what we saw. Here's a few other results to highlight. The good news, about 90% of residents rate their quality of life as good or very good. This is a really strong foundation and really speaks to the strengths of this community. We also asked about climate change. Are you concerned about it? Are you not? And of those concerned, about 80% said they were somewhat or very concerned about climate change. And so we followed up, well, what is it? And it was a lot of environmental impacts. Things like our changing weather patterns, wildfire risk, air quality, drought. You know, we've seen some of this with our recent ski season. And so you can see, you know, we categorized all these responses. These were all open-ended of what people were concerned about. And these results were fairly consistent across all of the different school districts. We also asked about vaccinations. Are you concerned about childhood vaccinations? Why or why not? And about 40% of people said that they were concerned or somewhat concerned about childhood vaccinations. The majority of these concerns, though, were all about the population impact of being concerned that others aren't having vaccinations or how we might see some diseases that we don't normally see being spread. But one thing is that really stood out with this one is that this was very consistent across all of Summit County. These views, there wasn't a huge stark difference between our areas on a lot of these concerns. These are just a few to highlight here. There's a lot more in the CHA report and a lot more that we asked about that we haven't done. But one thing I want to really stress is that this isn't just our data. This is everyone's. We want this to be accessible, transparent, and useful. And we're here to help with interpretation, applying it, or if you want the raw data, we're here to share it. There's so much more to look into. I really want others to use this, is the big part there. And then Kendra's going to talk about our chip.
Thank you, Nancy.
So as Nancy mentioned, we have a lot of data here, and this is the community's data, and we want people to feel comfortable accessing it, and you can all access this on our website. We have some printed copies of reports here that we're happy to share, but you can access it all virtually on our website, as well as you'll see at the end the QR code for that. And there's opportunities to request that through our website as well. So as Nancy mentioned earlier, the CHA and the CHIP are two halves of the same cycle. So the CHA identifies the needs. She talked a little bit about the highlights there, and the CHIP tells us what we should do about it. So now that we've identified some of those needs, what do we do? How do we create this strategic plan for the community for the next 5 years? And we did not want to do that alone. As she mentioned, this is the community's data. We want this to be a community effort. And so pictures that you see in some of these slides are from our CHIP work group. So we invited all of our community partners, stakeholders to participate in this. And she also mentioned we had over 40 partners that were participating in that. And over 2 days, with the help of a contractor that we used with CV Strategies, we were able to guide the creation of the CHIP for the next 5 years. So we wanted to make sure that all voices were heard. And one of the reasons we wanted to have this led by a facilitator that is not part of the health department is we did not want to bias what this looked like. We wanted this to be something that the community created that was not just the health department's community health improvement plan, but the community's health improvement plan. And so that really helped us to be just a participant and not someone who was leading the entire effort. So we also wanted to make sure you see up here that the root causes of health was something we wanted to focus on. Nancy mentioned those upstream social drivers or social determinants of health. And those are things that affect all the health outcomes that we track and that we care about at the health department. And so by working in those upstream areas, we can impact those. So we're excited to present to you the CHIP. You know, see if the video might work. I'm not sure if you clicked on CHIP. Okay, that's okay. It was only
It's a PDF.
You're good. So you see Chippy again here. The little clip isn't by any means necessary. It was just our way of introducing what a CHIP is, what it does, and what the focus is for the group. So we had Chippy tell us, and the group who participated, what the CHA is, what the CHIP is, and to help people understand that we use the CHA data. The participants read the CHA. They came with their own understandings of the community, the struggles, the strengths, and brought that to this 2-day workshop to help us identify what should our top 3 priorities be for the CHIP, what should those goals be for the CHIP as well. We mentioned this is guided by community voices, and we had partners from all of the sectors in those upstream drivers that we care about. So not just healthcare, that is a traditional partner of public health, education, transportation, social services, environment, local government. And we had those external facilitators do the workshop for us so that we were not the authority, but a partner in the process. And this was really helpful as we took all of that into account to define our priorities and get the community to support what this looks like going forward. So without further ado, here is our 1-page summary of the CHIP. This is what the workshop defined for us. We had the 3 priority levels, and then we had the 2 goals underneath them. So it goes deeper than this, and we decided that when it comes down to how we implement this, the health department will be spearheading some of these efforts, and we wanted all of their input on what this should look like. So when you read the full CHIP, you will see objectives and action steps that are much more detailed and time-bound, and those were created in conjunction with health department staff. So you can see priority 1, strengthen partnerships to impact community health drivers. This is huge and broad. And this is where we really have an opportunity to work with partners and identify some of those upstream policy areas, systems change areas that we want to work on. And so this will be a new effort for the health department to get involved in policy work with partners. So we are really excited about this. Priority 2 gets a little bit more narrow, improve food and nutrition access for an evolving community. You saw in Nancy's highlight, that was one of the important factors that people were concerned about, access to affordable food. And we know that there's a lot of discrepancy throughout the county in access to healthy and affordable food. And this is an area that us as the health department can really help lead and support. And so we get a little bit more specific here. And then priority 3, we get probably the most specific in our priorities. Again, another highlight straight from our CHA, increased immunization coverage to reduce preventable disease. And so this is a very traditional area to work in for public health, where we partner with healthcare partners and be able to hopefully reverse the trend that we're seeing in childhood vaccinations and continue seeing that uptick. So this process was successful for us for quite a few reasons. The CHIP priorities you saw are reflected with our CHA data. They're statistically grounded in that data, but we also bring in the lived experience from the partners who helped us create it. We have strategies that address real barriers rather than assuming needs, with both of those pieces coming together. And then we have the community buy-in. We had a lot of feedback from partners who participated that this was something they felt was really engaging, where they could have a meaningful impact. And so we're excited to spread the word about this and bring them to the table and start making some of these things happen. We are excited to have this as a shared vision for the community going forward. So just in summary, our key takeaways here: we have the CHA and the CHIP, and they provide us that data-driven understanding of community health. And it is extremely powerful, Nancy mentioned, because it is the most robust community health assessment we've ever done. It takes our national data sources, our state data sources, and all the work Nancy did to compile lived experience from our community residents into a data set that we are sharing, and hopefully everyone will want to use and request from the community. And then we have our partners involved to use that to create the CHIP, help us move forward with that over the next 5 years to create this long-term improvement in health and well-being for Summit County. So we are very excited for this. This is our second time presenting to a group, and we hope many others will want us to come and present, and we can share this resource. So acknowledgements, like we mentioned, many partners participated in the work group, including Park City School District was represented there. So we are very excited to have input and are very grateful for our partners who made this happen, including all of our staff have been very involved, and we are very grateful for their level of excitement and passion to move this forward, and CV strategies as well that we work with to have this facilitated. So thank you again. We also want to make sure we acknowledge these are county dollars that supported this effort, and so we are grateful for our county administration and county council for funding and supporting this, and for all of you for being here in the community to help support these efforts as well. And this is our very last slide, where you have the QR codes to directly link you to in either of these reports and to learn more about them, as well as to request data or connect with Nancy or myself on how we can best support you in these efforts. So with that, we are happy to take questions.
One wondering I have is, how can we leverage our existing partnership to realize some of these priorities, specifically our food pantries, vaccine clinics, because those are embedded in 2 of your 3 priorities.
And we have a pediatrician and a former child. Yeah, so for the, these are 2 different priorities, right? And if you, I'm welcome to pass these around too, if you'd like to see. So if you go to our full CHIP, we have our goals, and then as I mentioned earlier, we have the objectives and action steps, which are really over the next 5 years, how do we break this out into bite-sized chunks so that we can address the vaccination piece and the nutrition piece. And 2 things came out with the nutrition piece. So one of them was ensuring access, and also the other piece is reducing stigma. And so we are actually starting to implement this with an intern that just started last week, who is doing her graduate degree, and she's a dietitian, correct?
Yes, she's with our WIC program that she's doing an internship with, and she's very excited about trying to reduce some of the stigma and make healthy food more accessible. And one of the things that we're starting to work on are developing some videos on what's it like to go to the food bank, what's involved. Like, let's make it just easier. You can watch a video of how you do it, how you go and what's needed, but also making healthy meals from food that's available and what that looks like, and shopping for those recipes within the food bank and our other local food resources that we have, and putting together seasonal recipes that are on a budget but also healthy. And another area that we've talked about is trying to build recipes and easy things to cook for kids that are maybe home after school and need a healthy meal, rather than the Easy Mac or something, like trying to find kid-friendly, healthy meals and making videos and putting those together and really trying to create some content to make things a little more accessible to people, so they can watch rather than having to go and read it. Okay.
Another piece to that too is we know that there are a lot of commercial grade kitchens, a lot of facilities that aren't used all the time, that we could potentially partner and connect people who could learn cooking skills, learn nutrition, as well as the videos. So there's a lot of opportunity for some joint use collaboration there. The other goal around nutrition specifically is a little bit higher up in the systems level. So it focuses, oh, thank you, got to that, this is so great. So you can see this one here is really focusing on a sustainable food infrastructure and food system here in the county. Trying to see if there's opportunities to alleviate food deserts, ensuring we have sustainable agricultural practices that we can continue in the county, so it moves into that level as well. And for the vaccination piece, there's a lot that we can partner on as well there. I was just say that's probably a little bit more close to what we've been discussing already.
I will say, if you haven't been into the new CTE wing, we do have two, one commercial kitchen and one just your traditional kitchen. We'd love to look at ways in which we might partner to provide.
A tour of that had sparked an idea for this, is like, you know, this could be such a great resource to be able to use and with community and different things that we could really use with that. It's a absolutely beautiful building.
Yes, and our CTE director sitting in the audience.
Don't push that. Is Eat still doing like after school? Well, maybe we could do Camp Hawk. I mean, even though the Camp Hawk, it wouldn't have to be a standalone thing, we could just.
After school.
Yeah, right.
Snack before you.
Exactly, and different ways to maybe have more like freeze-dried options to take some healthy food and then make it last a little bit longer and just make some things a little more accessible.
Well, as you get things rolling and off the ground, please reach out. We'd love to partner because this is our community as well. We want to extend the resources to them and make sure that we're meeting our families at their level of need.
Thank
We
you.
have our full support.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Would anyone like a physical copy?
I would.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Mrs. Bell. We've got our focus on Jeremy Ranch Elementary, one of the 4 best elementary schools in the district.
It's our turn. Yes. Well, thank you for having me. Yes, my name is Jackie Spell. I'm the principal at Jeremy Ranch Elementary. Along with some of my amazing staff and family members here are joining us today. So I'll go ahead and talk you through, of course, some of the factors of regarding our academic success, the personnel, our leadership and communication, what a lot of this is looking like at Jeremy Ranch Elementary. So I go to the next slide, our mission and vision. This might look very elementary style to you, because you can see some of my presentation slides that I've used previously. On this slide, I'm really focusing on the academic portion of our mission and vision. You can see that we have 3 of our goals outlined. The first one tied to reading performance, and the second math performance, and the third our multi-language learner performance. However, I knew going into this new role as a principal at Jeremy Ranch Elementary, after having an administrator that had been there for 17 years, you can't just jump in and expect that things are going to be okay without first building those relationships with the staff. And so you could see a great quote I have there from my buddy Barack Obama that says, leadership is all about building relationships, understanding people, and inspiring them to be their best. So I knew I had that ahead of me, right? So during the summer, I offered to have staff, if they wanted to come volunteer to meet with me one-on-one. I had some guiding questions to help build those relationships, understand what's happening at the school. One of them was, what's going really well at Jeremy Ranch Elementary, or what do you feel sets us apart from the other elementary schools? Some of the things that came up that they feel we have strong collaborative teachers, we have great coaching and support staff, they're hardworking, it feels like a family, committed teachers with low turnover, and I continue to see that too, which is really awesome. The next one was, what areas do you think we need to fine tune? Some things came up in regards to our master schedule or tiered instruction, accountability and vulnerable conversations, some things around student behavior, teacher lunch pickup procedures were some things there. And then just how I could best support the incoming principal was my last guiding question. And they just asked to ensure that we're having collaborative PLCs with all players. We have trust and autonomy, observations and feedback with coaching, which equals an instructional leader. That we have follow through communication and having teachers back. So I felt like that really helped give me a solid understanding of where I needed to go. And I was able to present that at the beginning of the year at my opening meetings. Our next one, this is kind of a fun bragging slide. I'm looking at our social potential. So the first little picture you see is some of our French awards. So they had a read aloud competition that was created, and that involved Trailside, Butler Elementary down in Salt Lake City, and Jeremy Ranch Elementary. And we really just honed in. We are in fourth grade, or in first, second, and third place, fifth grade, first, second, and third place. And this was a read aloud competition in the French language. And we have some very high level French speakers as the judges. So they're pretty excited about that. I am noting here our performing arts as well. Sharon McDonald does such a fantastic job as our music teacher. I continue to be very impressed about the sitting and I'm not going to say the word correctly. I'm not saying it correctly. But she just has so many elements in regards to acting, the movement and the plays and the parts. And it's really wonderful. We also have harmonic hops that are practicing in the morning, as well as jump rope club. In the other section over here, we hit the park record for a positive note, right? That Jeremy Ranch Elementary student beats two-time champion sister to win the regional spelling bee title. So Wesley did a great job, and he's going to the national competition in Washington, DC in May. So that was a really proud moment for our school. And then the next one, if I move on to academic success. So right here, you can see some of our reading stats, right? In Utah, 70% of third grade students reading at proficiency by 2027 is a Utah reading goal. You'll see that Park City School District has 90% of Park City students will read on grade level, on or above grade level by the end of third grade. And if you look over at our school results, last year we had 94.4% reading on or above grade level in reading. So that was phenomenal. And you can see some of our third grade teachers there. All of them were invited to the Capitol at the beginning of the year to be honored. And then our little bottom box that you see there is looking at our 24-25 student proficiency on RISE, or the DLN test, in language arts, math, and science. And you can see just the high scores that beat the other elementary averages, as well as the state results. So we've got some pretty strong teachers at Jeremy Ranch, and I think that's been well known. One area though where we're continuing to work on is we're in ATSI, right, working on the targeted support for our multilingual learners. And so our goal with Park City School District, as we know, is that 80% of our English language learners will reach English language proficiency within 5 years. And so that has been some initiatives and work that they have been striving for quite a long time. You can see some of the trends right here. This is from the state accountability data. There was quite a bit of a drop in 2024, but they were very hard. They were very intentional last year and saw a significant increase up to 7.10 points going towards our overall score. And then next, okay, so leadership. As you can see here, where we can kind of see the part where it says our why, right? And this is where we've been really focusing on the work with our multilingual learners, understanding that making sure we understand the exit criteria when students are taking the WIDA assessment in regards to the reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And so right here, we really dove back into the PSYOP strategies, right, which are best practices for all learners. And right here, you can see two of our teachers presenting, and it looks like on that one, they're presenting about comprehensible input. Then if we go over to the far side of the right, I know this looks very familiar to a lot of us, the Dignity Index. I was a part of that team that went to the conference early on in the year, and my previous administrative experience out in Salt Lake City School District, we were using the Dignity Index as well. So I started to kind of share some of this information with our staff, and then we, as we know, one of the breakout sessions on the 20th when we all met was to look at our hotspots. And so we brought that back, and Ms. Hedden and I, my dean, looked at the trends that we saw on hotspots and kind of divvied that out when we got to work and run our professional learning Fridays and kind of identify where's the hotspots, why do we feel it's a hotspot, and then what are some possible solutions to address that, right? And those hotspots are when somebody is experiencing the possible contentment, right, as opposed to meeting somebody with dignity. So that's been some great work there. And then the last part, you're seeing some things just in relation to so the autonomic nervous system, or the AND state, right? So we've been looking at educator brain states or different brain states with students and how to support them. This is just in relation to, I'm in an applied education neuroscience graduate program. So this is just some work, right, around philosophy or just empowering the teacher to know how to help self-regulate, to then be able to co-regulate with students, and students identifying the brain state that they're in, and then what tool they can use to help become more regulated and be functioning in a state where they can focus. Okay, communication. So some of our communication pathways include Instagram. Of course, we have a PTO Instagram page. We also have one specifically for our school. We utilize the bright arrow, of course, for email or text messages. We have a from the Hawk's Nest email communication that I send out as well. And then to the staff, there's just a weekly staff communication, which goes out every Sunday on the week at a glance at the ranch. So yeah, lots of opportunities to connect there. And then, okay, so community alliances, this is pretty fun too, right? We have awesome Parks of the Education Foundation. You can see to the left all of the areas in which they're supporting us as one of our community partners with our after school program, our classroom grants, our DLI support, PBIS, preschool, so many ways. And then we also have our Upper Hill Middle School LIA, so our Latino in Actions. Right, we have language buddies or language partners. They can be an office or teacher assistant and work on school projects with us. We've also partnered with Magnesium in relation to PTO. And then also our PTO, and of course, as we know about masterpieces in art, just acknowledging students in regards to their art pieces has been really fun. Okay, and this is pretty exciting. So some excellent personnel that we get to honor today. So I have Mindy Martin here. Does she get to come up, or I just?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about Mindy, right? So obviously she's a kindergarten teacher. She's been with our school district for 18 years. She's also a nationally board certified teacher. She's also part of our PCBL or SILT committee, right? So that's kind of some of the work that you see right here is some of the Science Fridays that she's integrated that has been really neat, where the kindergarten students have the opportunity to decide which Friday science experience they want to engage in. And then you can also see some of the learning progressions that she's created to be able to make personalized learning accessible to even kindergartners, where that can be very challenging for some teachers. She is a wizard at it and is doing such a great job. She also is very much a thought partner. She's very solution-based, right? She will see a hotspot and wants to dive right into and figure out ways for us to move beyond that. Another part, I just want to, her little project spotlight, a listening library that she's been working on for quite a while is with her literacy program, right? So she has physical picture books that she's paired with a custom QR code, where the teacher is reading the story, reading the book, and the students can check that out, right? Being able to hear that fluency, the automaticity, the intonation, right? As the students are learning how to read. As it says, it exposes the students to more complex storylines and more than just that traditional take-home reader. Pretty exciting. She's also partnered with Ms. Solom at, what was this one we're at? And National Junior Honor Society, yes, at Upper Hill Middle School. And so the students have then also been reading and doing some recordings to help support the audio for that part. So now all of our kindergarten classrooms are able to engage in that as well. So I'm really excited to honor Mindy. She's been very welcoming, very collaborative, and so. Thank you. Nice. Yeah.
We'll bring that back.
They want to sit right there. Okay, our next staff member is Nicole Harhide. Come on up. So Nicole is one of our special education instructional aides. She works in our complex needs classroom. She's been with the district 5.5 years. So as you can see here, I really appreciate how she builds trusting relationships with our students. They feel very safe with her, right, with their routines, and she creates that predictability that they need. She's very collaborative with her partner, who's actually here today. There she is, her SPED teacher partner and our gen ed teachers. Just so fantastic with the collaboration that she has in that communication. And then, of course, supporting our students in reaching their IEP goals and ensuring that they have all of their modifications and their accommodations to help support them. But it's fun to see her throughout the day because she will jump in and supports wherever she's needed. She's very, as I already said, collaborative with the classroom teachers and will find any way to help make sure that the learning is accessible with the students. So congratulations, Nicole.
If I can get Mindy to come back up, Ingrid, the representative from Park City Mountain Resort. We'll go stand over there and we'll send over here and grab a picture. Yeah. Whether. Thank you both for embodying the One PC spirits on behalf of Park City School District, the Ed Foundation, Parksville, Epic Commons. We commend you for your dedication and expertise in the classroom, both with their students and their families. And I will let you explain a little bit more about the PCSD programs or.
It's the best part. Yeah, nice to meet everybody. Chris Lingham, Vice President of Operations in Park City. Congratulations to you both. Really excited to be here on behalf of Epic Promise and Vail Resorts. I'll keep this brief because the exciting part is the gift. So, yeah, as a nomination for Teacher of the Month, we offer either a lift pass, $100 credit for dining or retail, so whichever is your preference. On from the resource, we're really excited to be a partner of Park City Ed Foundation, pillars of the community. We've been partners for about 11 years, and we've seen a lot of money go into PCEF, and just really proud of the relationship we have. And it's just really cool to see teachers honored in this way. I'm just happy to be part of it. So thank you both. Yes.
No words. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for all the work you do. For part of this and Jackie for, elevating the work you guys are doing every day with our students. It's incredible. And it's a really small way to thank you. So, yeah. You guys are welcome to leave or should I? Thank you for having I'm gonna keep it rolling. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you. Share all this. And next up, we've got Tracy with Tracy Pike and Trip Marshall
And Brad.
and Brad.
Brad, searcher.
To come talk to us about the CC curriculum.
Sure.
All right, well, thank you for having us here today. I'm excited to share, back in the fall, we brought new course proposals to you. And so 2 of these go along with the course proposals that you approved months ago. So good to see we've made progress and, so now we are in the adoption phase of what we are going to be teaching in those new courses. And then we have Brad as well that are just 2 very innovative teachers. So, which is awesome. I feel very fortunate that they're willing to put in work and think outside the box and continue to find great opportunities for our students. So it creates more work for them, but it's so appreciated that they're willing to do that. So we're gonna start out with, we're gonna go to Tango Flight. I'll let
All right.
Trip take it away.
So as part of our course proposal to have an aviation maintenance program here, we've looked at different curriculum, things like that, and one that we're moving forward with or pushing forward is one called Tango Flight. Tango Flight is a hands-on aviation maintenance program in that it has a full curriculum that takes care of, without getting too much in the weeds, what's called your generals. You're gonna be an aviation maintenance technician, you have to go through your generals. It's basically like your classroom stuff, so it covers the first year of that. So students will be complete with that. The hands-on experience comes with that. It does come with an aircraft to actually build and work on. And the curriculum is absolutely fantastic. It was written by a gentleman who was a teacher for 19 years before starting this nonprofit organization. And they specialize in high school programs. The last number I heard was that they have built 60 airplanes in the last 10 years at 12 different schools in different states, sorry, 12 different states. The thing I like about this also is that we have a lot of students currently in our aviation pathway that are wanting to be pilots, whether it's for fixed wing aircraft, future airline pilots or corporate pilots, commercial pilots, firefighters, things like that, or drone pilots. The maintenance part is really nice because there's a lot of students out there fascinated with aviation, would love to do that, but they're thinking of pilot pathway rather than forming it, and they would rather do something where they work on things. They'd rather work in maintenance of some kind, whether it's auto, aviation, or what have you. But also we have a lot of students who go into engineering from our school as well. So students who they talk about aerospace engineering. I think we have one student going to Purdue next year for that, actually. But this would pull in these different students. The students want to be pilots, who want to learn more about aircraft. Students want to be working maintenance as well as students want to be engineering, which I'm really very excited about, to have those students in one program together. I think that it's going to be a fantastic mix of individuals. It does, the college and career readiness component is something we always think about in CTE, because we always want to get high demand, high wage pathways. That's what we want to put in front of our students, to help lay the groundwork for the futures after they leave and go post-secondary life. And this curriculum combines a lot of career readiness and a lot of those who want to go on to college. Typically, an aviation maintenance degree program is about 2 to 2.5 years. I've talked to SUU preliminary, talking to the head of their maintenance program. They have a fantastic aviation maintenance program down there. The guy who works there actually helped write the regulations for the FAA. And he said, this looks great. He's like, preemptive, without going too much in detail, he's like, I could probably release a lot of credit. So they could shortcut their time to get their licenses with that. It's really hard to beat when it comes to that kind of college and career readiness program, I'd say. It covers lots of different strands. These were just some of the ones that we highlighted here. But it isn't just about working on airplanes. It's really about learning to run a shop, work in a shop, be safe in the shop, be able to understand drawings, technical drawings, follow plans, I have a friend who's built a few airplanes, and he said, 10 years ago, he couldn't put a doorknob in a door. His wife was impressed when he did that one time. Now he built a couple of planes. And he said, an airplane's just 13,000 small projects. That's all it really is. So it really is gonna help those kids kind of work on those detailed, kind of things with a lot of precision. But yeah, obviously tons of strands covered. It aligns extremely well with the standards from the state office. So there is, of course, some materials and costs. The tools are about $8,500. The kit and delivery is $57,000. $10,000 for professional development. That includes training for the teacher, which is probably going to be at this point, as well as for 5 other mentors. These can be community members. These can be people within school, like Mr. Dan or someone like that, who can actually come in and help out with this class from time to time. And so they'll train up those people. They do the training on site, which is great. So they'll actually come to us, inspect our facility, make sure we're doing things the right way. There's a yearly subscription of $16,000 or $17,000. And this includes all the curriculum for the teachers, students, all the materials. It's very much a turnkey type program for aviation maintenance.
And this was paid, we already have the grant funding for this, so, yes, yeah. Not asking for anything.
For all this extra stuff.
So last fall, we wrote for a Catalyst grant, the Catalyst Center grant, which we got. New legislation is now called the Apex grant, just so if you hear the change, it's now Apex. But so, yeah, this is funded by that with, also building a structure to house our new aviation home.
Yes.
So
Where will it go?
It's out on the construction yard. Yeah.
Have we had students and parents reach out that are interested?
Oh yeah, I mean,
And we had enough kids ready, because we already.
yeah, we already
For
know.
next year, so the class is running in full next
okay.
year, it'll be second semester, just to give us time to make sure everything's ready to go. So we don't have to panic in August that we don't have everything.
So is it a class that you do for several years in a row?
That's a great question. Not to get too much in the weeds with it, but the way that they do Tango Flight curriculum is there's a part A and a part B. It's technically a year-long program, but students don't have to do it for a year, but if they don't get credit for the journals in the should. And what's really nice about the A and B programs, you don't actually have to start with A. So if a student can't take it next spring and they take it in the fall, they can take part B and then take part A the following spring. So they say it really doesn't matter which one they take first, but if they want to complete all their generals, it should be a one-year program for the typical student.
Will they, and we have mentioned this, will they get a certificate or something?
Yeah, so they're working towards, first of all, the big level one is they're working towards what's called the A&P certificate, the Airframe Empowerment Certificate. I've been reading, they just changed the law, the FAA did in November, I'm still digging through those laws, but there's something called Mosaic, which actually has a certificate in it called the Light Sport Repairman Certificate, which a light sport aircraft under, I think, 2,300 pounds and has so much horsepower. But I've talked to a guy who owns a light sport dealership in Heber, and he said this would be a great certificate. He said, I retired, I was supposed to do this with that certificate to help me do oil changes and whatnot, and things like that. So they could get one pretty quickly. The AMP takes another year of training outside. And you have to be over 18. So it's a little tricky for high school students.
Right.
Right, the
Another
next,
question,
Oh,
you
sorry.
have the yearly subscription cost for all the curriculum materials. How does it work with the airplane kit? I'll be doing that later.
So this is it's kind of nuanced, but this is very interesting. I told the guy that we found this company, I was like, I don't know if anybody ever called you a genius, but it's pretty genius. What we do is actually, we put the cost of the money down for the kits. It's an airplane kit. It's selling this to the South African company. And they, it's basically a deposit. And every time we want a new kit, we get done. It takes about 2 years to build one. So every 2 years, we'll get a new kit. And then at any time if we decide to cancel, we get, I think, up to 100, it's like $99,000 of that back. And so so basically the yearly subscription basically helps cover their professional development, sending us parts, tools, things like that. Yeah, so that it just basically keeps us kind of in contact with them. But they said anytime you want to cancel, we'll get you this deposit back. So
It's about a kit every year, I'm sorry.
about every 2 years,
Every 2 years?
every 2 years, we'll get a new kit, but we don't have to pay the deposit.
Okay.
The deposit's good. Obviously.
And what happens to the airplane that gets built?
So, it's another thing that what's interesting about it is we technically, as a school district and school, you want to say it? I'd like, so they, sorry, is they technically own the airplane. We never actually own it. Which is kind of nice, because then our name's never on it, from a liability standpoint. So what happens, is we build 95% of the plane. I should say of the project, because technically it's not an airplane until it's been inspected by the FAA. We build 95% of the project. They actually come in, they arrange for a local hangar. I actually have some contacts that have already kind of started inroads to that. They take the wings off, put it on a flatbed, take it out to Heber or Morgan or wherever, finish the last 5%, inspect it, get the FAA inspected, and they fly it away and they send us another. They said that our superintendent should take a ride in it.
Might not come back.
Oh. That's not me. But anyways, yeah, no, that's really how.
It's not like it's ultra, right?
No, this is a two-seat trainer. It's
Like
a,
assessment?
it's more like a low wing light sport. I wish I could put a picture of it now, but yeah, it's yeah, Sling S2. It was a van, you guys are here. Anybody, if you wanna know, I'll tell you. Don't get me started. Yeah, that's the Sling 2, yeah. And so, yeah, it's 2-seat, very comfortable airplane, pretty
Very
quick.
comfortable airplanes.
Yes.
That's built for superintendents and actually comfort.
No,
And
if
safety,
you- if
and
you're
safety.
in line,
Do I go first? If I go first, you gotta go to the.
Yeah. Yes. I think that's a deal.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a fantastic, all the way around. I to give you a little background, I grew up on the airport. My dad was there, mechanic, he built planes. It's not uncommon. It sounds like something like, okay, is it made out of Legos? Like, maybe like this. It's very common. It's actually way more common than the general public would actually know. And so I'm super excited for.
We have a building to build this in?
No.
That was part of the grant, yes. So we received approximately $390,000 as part of this Apex grant that Tracy and Tripp wrote. So that will help construct a building as well as purchase the curriculum and the materials that are necessary.
And where is this building? The land, yeah.
The ideal spot would be inside the construction yard over in the CTE wing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another proposal yet to come.
And Colby's working.
They're working on it. So we're trying to keep those separate at the moment, but yeah, we've looked long and hard, probably a year for trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
That was the first one. Keep going, Tripp.
Yeah, all right. Now for something
This will
completely.
be like shorter.
This is a little more straightforward. We're looking at, we would like to adopt a curriculum from cyber.org. We're going to have a cybersecurity class. It's an introduction to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is probably, if it's not number one, it's probably close to the fastest growing career fields in the world. Like a normal growth for careers like 4% year after year, and it's growing at about 28 to 29% year after year, with 16,000 new jobs for this every single year. And so cybersecurity is something we wanted to do for a while. We couldn't quite make it work for some reasons, and this year seems to be really coming together nicely. Cyber.org is a well-recognized nonprofit organization that puts together curriculum for various levels of school for cybersecurity. The reason why we've chosen this one is it has a very low barrier. It's not a lot of hardware that's needed. It's virtual. It has the experience. You can run simulations instead of, if you need to teach cybersecurity, you have to have access to terminals and computers and things like that. And we don't necessarily want to have that in students' hands. See it over there, like.
Oh, network.
Like this allows us to run simulations, and so that they get the same experience, but instead of using our actual hardware, they can do it in a safer environment. It has a direct alignment to an industry standard. Also, we did a comparison with the state standards, and it hits every single state standard for the course. And we're actually looking at this as a more of a supplementary level of curriculum with Code HS, which has already been adopted by the district. And so we're looking at using that. But honestly, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, this could be a really strong curriculum for us. The holistic citizen development part basically has a great module on how to be like cyber citizens and things like that, which is something our kids I don't necessarily, we try to do a lot with them, but they could use more of it, I think. So it has that component to it as well. So it's not just about keystrokes and looking at networks and things like that. Yeah, okay. So this is like some of the strands that one of the ones that we identified here. The biggest one is how to look at these essential concepts. A lot of the stuff covered in the strands standards from the state are also covered in things like computer science and some other classes, but this is a lot more hands-on class. So we're trying to move more that direction because that's what our students are craving a little bit more of. I feel like this has been a long time coming and we're glad to be able to finally offer it to help round out our computer science pathways. There's actually a free teacher version for this, which I'm going to be looking at this quarter. But we might.
Yeah, we have computer science grant as well. So we requested a vote for what the upgrade cost is. We have funds that are allocated to the high school for software. So if we want to choose the upgrade option, we can use computer science family.
Yeah, we've had one teacher, Ms. Henderson, go and actually talk to these people and work with them at a conference. I haven't had the opportunity to do that in person yet, but she said it was absolutely fantastic, and she has a pretty good eye for the fall of computer science. So that's the one we're looking at. And that's that. Any questions on that one? That one's a little more straightforward.
All right, Mr. Gannon.
And these should be generally straightforward too. Rev Robotics, we've worked with Vex Robotics for the past 3 years and we decided to upgrade to Rev. They're more aligned with our first tech team for the past decade. We've had an FTC team here with the district. And we're hoping to align our robotics program more with that after school 12 program. It's industry relevant, it's modern, scalable, open source. We can pull parts from multiple companies for the different robots that we can build. And it's just more flexible all around for our kids. Lots of strands. Safety is number one. That's across all my engineering, construction, and robotics courses. And then the focus on society, like robotics, automation is in our future. We're going to see it every day, especially in the next 3 to 5 years. We're going to see it in all your restaurants and where you drive to. That's the future of our world right now. Talking about components, electricity, that'll go to the next one too, but also programming. It'll be mainly block-based programming with an introduction to Java. And hoping via Perkins grants, we're hoping for 15 kits. We have 2 classes next year of roughly 20 to 30 students. And the 15 kits allow for us to keep on that program without having to buy a ton of materials for about 3 years. Obviously things break down, and we replace those as we go.
Doing battle bots.
They love the idea of battle bots. They run into each other at times, but we try and avoid. We pop balloons. We pop balloons with toothpicks. That's like the simple.
Almost the same thing.
Any questions on Rev system? This is through a Perkins grant.
So we requested it for our consortium, so we'll know in the next month or so whether we have the full funding for that.
And how long is that grant for? 3 years, you said?
So Perkins is just an
Perkins
annual grant, so we are hoping for the full cost to be covered. It's consortium now versus individual school districts within our region. So there's a pool of money and each district can apply and they prioritize the requests based on the goals of the region.
And then next up is and in addition, we have a switch vehicles, electric vehicle. As part of our capstone course for our PC caps. We're in our second iteration of building right now, building up the vehicle, but this is like more of an introduction to electrical safety, battery safety. It's hands-on and technical. It's a battery lab, and then I'm hoping to use with my introduction freshman engineering tech class. But modern, sustainable, and using lithium batteries. Again, safety, engineering mindset, using that design process. And with that design process and engineering fundamentals, talking about series and parallel circuits and how things work together. And the importance of talking about voltage and amperage and where things flow throughout the Buffalo Mountains. And this includes 5 battery labs. So it's about 6 batteries in each battery lab. Includes the voltage meter, it also includes all the curriculum and also the meters that we will do already with it. It's a nice little kit that's put together from Switch Labs and based in Northern California. And it's a Rocky Mountain Power grant. We should find out in 2 to 3 months.
So, are you guys engineers?
I am not an engineer. No, I have a degree in technology and engineering education.
So is this gonna give them hands up for engineering if they wanted to go into that?
Absolutely, yeah. And anything, even for like the switch purposes, switch vehicles, like sustainability, the future of our world, or even going into something related to automotive.
Right, thank you.
Any questions? Okay, so what happens with the kit? Sorry. You're next. The car that gets built, does it just get disassembled and reassembled or?
It's half disassembled right
I
now.
saw, yeah.
It's on our balcony right now.
Right, yes.
Kids are working on the brake lines today, so not even electrical components, but. Working on the brakes.
So that doesn't have to go.
That doesn't have to go away. There's been schools that have been building it for about 10 years now.
Visually,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that was like,
Drive it.
how many years ago that
What's
you were
that?
trying to get that going?
Students are allowed to drive it via a waiver. We keep it governed at about 20 miles an hour. It will be, we're hoping to do a showcase event this May, along with the program.
RC car club with the elementary. Oh, we tried a way to highlight it, but it was bad weather when it
Yeah,
really
it was, when we finished, it was early December. So the kids actually had a chance to take it around the track.
we got some great.
Yeah, the grown kids.
There's been great-
That's great footage of, and the car is so cool.
Love it.
Now, we were very
That happened.
intentional. We selected this particular vehicle because it was not cheap. And so we wanted to be able to take it apart and rebuild it over multiple years to give kids that unique experience.
And they love it.
And the company's been really good too, like if a part goes down, like within 2 days, we have a new part without a cost. Like, we had the initial cost and they sent us a new brake caliper this past week.
So you mentioned drones, where do drones fit into these programs?
They're sort of, they're in the aviation pathway, so we like, the aviation pathway is, all things flying, so to speak, but then we try to like separate it out, because kids have little different ones that to be in. Some kids take all of it, though. I have kids take every single class. As far as this curriculum goes, the drone curriculum is sort of satisfied at this time. We really don't need to expand on that in any ways. We do have a drone building class where they're actually building drones and things like that. And the cool thing about the car, that's what I brought up, was that the car was driving around and we actually used a drone that we built to film it. And the kid who flew it is one of the best drone pilots I've ever seen. It was fantastic. But there's really, other than it being part of the aviation highway, there's no time to this curriculum per se. Other than the kids learn a lot from both, and they use, it's kind of cross curricular in that, they learn about batteries, or they learn about, things that use batteries and kind of cross over.
Were there other, I'm sorry, Susan, did you?
No, I just did nice work.
So the aircraft maintainer project that you're getting, will there ever be air traffic control?
Yeah, we, currently, I have, I don't know if there's actually, there might be a class in the pathway for that. The space and cost necessary for that, we just currently aren't ready for that yet. It's because we need air traffic control space. To get around the air traffic control issue of not having our kids be able to participate in that is we're using AI currently on our simulators. And it's been pretty good. We actually had the CEO and programmer that come visit our class to watch us use it, because we're the only high school in the country using it.
Wow.
And he went home and made a bunch of new features just based on us. That's really cool. But that's how we're doing it now. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a pilot shortage globally, there's a maintainer shortage globally, and there's an air traffic controller. Currently, I think the last time I heard was about 11,000 air traffic control is short in this country right now.
Yeah.
And they hired, we were 16,000 short last year. I think they hired 9, and of course, some of the wash out at the time. So, yeah, it's definitely need, absolutely need.
Easy to hire, I think.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky business.
And can you go into that with a high school degree or do you need a college degree?
Oh, yeah, you can actually, have to be, I think, 19 years old and have at least 2 years of full-time work experience. If you have a 4-year degree, you don't have to have the work experience, and then you have to pass the test, and then that's in your training.
Well, thank you.
I'm too old. I'm way, they don't want me. Not that I've looked at it, but others.
Thank you all for
Thank you.
supporting
Yeah.
their evening program that they are doing. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Jake,
I'm going.
you're on.
Okay. I got a lot of moving parts, so I'll try to be quick. Okay, you started Dozier, that's fine, so, that's good, let's start here. Maybe go to the first slide, Bill, so this can just kind of a refresher of what's going on over there. There you go, okay, so this is what was settled on when we finally got through all the CUP process, right? So there's the new entrance on the east side, and then there's the redo of the west side, which includes all the team rooms and everything underneath the bleachers, the plaza up on top for concessions and that kind of stuff, so, and now you can go through the slides. So the buildings on the west side are, halfway up, right? So half of the concrete foundation, all the footings are done over there, but the foundation wall that this thing is built on, this structure for the bleachers is halfway done. They are pouring the other side Friday, and then they are doing the slab on Monday in there. So that structure will be done, then you'll start to see the precast sections of concrete come in there, and then everything's built up underneath that. What you're seeing here is the south end retaining wall. This is on the end zone side, which creates a wall so that there's a sidewalk that goes all the way around the track so people can get around the track. That's what you see there. You can go to the next one. So there's quite a bit of utility stuff that has to happen. This is the new power that's coming over to that west side. You can see that, and then kind of in the background there, sorry for the light, but both the buildings on the entrance side on the east are done. So they're up, they're putting the roofs on right now, and they're working on all the mechanical and electrical and plumbing that goes inside those. They're mostly bathrooms. There's a visitor, referee room there or officials room in the one building, and then the other building's a lot of, maintenance storage, but they're up and going. This is where the canopy would go, it goes over between these two buildings right there. You can go to the next one. This is that half of the west side. You can kind of see the steps going up there. That's kind of how you'll see that gradation goes as that's going. Go to the next one, and then this is just kind of them pouring. And this is actually a fairly big structure, so the pictures don't really do it justice, but it's very big, and that wall in the back is built, all that's built up behind that. There's a retaining wall back there that you can see from the church parking lot. If you've been over there, you'd notice that. And then one more, I think that's kind of inside that building. So that'll all be slab, all the rebar that you see there will be walls, individual walls that separate all the rooms that are underneath that, which is the team rooms and everything else. They just finished up the underground today. Like I said, they've got the gravel, they're gonna go on the south side of the slab, and then they'll pour the foundation on the north side there. So, we pulled the track back from or not the track, excuse me, the turf back from the football field to demo the track. That's slated for, May 1st. So the track will come out, they'll regrade that, and then you'll start seeing them pouring that in sections. So I would say Dozier's going very well. The sewer is about 95% complete. We've got it to all the buildings. It just needs to be connected. All of the underground's been done. It's really just finishing up the majority of the concrete. And again, this is a precast structure, so it will set on top of this. So that will be coming in and then craned in on top of this and then finishing off the other buildings and obviously the track. So I would say we're on schedule over there and that's looking pretty good. So, and that's the ticketing buildings that's on the south side of the entrance there on the east side. So that all the sides of them. So, this is Treasure Mountain, obviously. So, over there, the softball field is turfed. All the fencing is done around both baseball and softball. You've seen the slats go in, you've seen the batter's eye kind of go in over there on the baseball field. Obviously, we're dealing with the dewatering, so you see some tanks setting on the baseball field right now. They're site grading. We are approximately 50% on the north soccer field right now. So all that subgrade that goes underneath to support the artificial turf is going in there right now. And then we got a lot of utilities that were going in there. We've got the sewer done to the support building. You can go through the side there. So this is the support building. That is the last building that needs to be done over there. We ran into some more peat and some more bad soils over there that had to be dealt with. And so we excavated this down till we hit solid ground and then we're bringing it back up. So, and they're done with that and they're bringing it back up right now. So that's the last building. There's the north soccer field. So you can see that that's coming into place there. This is just more pictures of them and the subgrade of that. So really this is the building, the press box and concession stand. So all the buildings there, other than the support, press box, the team rooms and the dugouts are all done. It's just now all the finish, right? So the roof is on this building. They're finishing the roofs the rest of this week on the team rooms and on the dugouts. And then they're obviously doing the mechanical inside. This is same thing. We're doing hot and heavy on the utilities. So this is all new pressurized water, irrigation, the sewers in. We're just finishing up the fiber that was already there this week. So you can kind of see that. So there's a lot of that going on. Those are the team rooms on the baseball and softball side. All of the netting fencing's in, the light poles are in around those. They've been doing the site electrical, connecting all the poles kind of in the background. There's been some landscaping going on. And then they're starting all the bleacher pads this week. And so they'll start doing that. And that just kind of gives you a view from the back end of that softball field to see the team room on the one side, dugout, press box, that kind of stuff. Treasurer's had some challenges, obviously, but I think we've worked through most of those. And it's moving forward pretty quickly. To save on some of the soils there, we raised the grade a foot so that we could keep everything that's stored there on site. It's going to be incorporated back into the landscaping. A lot of it's going to get buried there. So there'll be no more export of soils off that site. And that's been pretty helpful. So I think I've covered just about everything. I mean, there's a lot of minutia, obviously, but any questions, I'm happy.
How far ahead are we?
I wouldn't say we're ahead. I would say we're a little behind on some things and then ahead on some other things. So for instance, we were gonna shut down for the winter. So they weren't gonna work January, February because of the soil conditions. They didn't want to track a lot of mud out and have to deal with that, assuming that we would have a lot of snow. That didn't materialize. So we're ahead as far as the grading goes on the soccer fields, right? So we were able to demo that building, get the slab out, get the foundation out and start the grading on that. And so we're ahead there, but we're behind on the baseball field, on some of the other components, right? Maybe a little bit on the tennis courts. We elected to leave the parking lot alone until school's out. So there'll be a rush kind of there at the end to finish the new parking lot because there's a few utilities that tie in over there by McPullen. And so that will have to be dug up. The utilities tied in and it's basically the same parking lot, but it'll be in parking lot. Right? So there's a few things. It's just kind of balancing there. So I would say we're ahead of Dozier for sure. So
What's the timeline on Dozier?
Dozier, I think will be well finished before football season starts. So I'm thinking probably the end of July, somewhere in there. So
Somewhere in the summer. And then turf on the baseball field?
Turf on the baseball field's here. It's sitting on the field right now. It's scheduled to go in the end of April. No, end of April. So, yeah, once the frac tanks leave the site, which is, I anticipate will be sometime in next week, to the end of next week. Then I've already talked to them. I just talked to them last week. They'll be mobilizing to put that field in. So we've got to touch it up, obviously, but it was already graded out, right? We haven't really messed it up too much, so it should be pretty easy, so.
Seems like the temperature is not gonna be that much of an issue.
No, temperature's not an issue and you'll be surprised at how fast it does go down, but yeah, it is scheduled for the end of April over
So
there.
we play some games on that field this year.
On the baseball field?
Yeah.
No, maybe they'll be done by the time
The season.
put it on down that dirt.
That doesn't mean other sports couldn't enjoy the use of them for that, but, so. That's it, all right.
Thank you. Thank you.
City.
Yes, Stefan.
Bye. Thank you for starting early for me. Nick is gonna take over driving.
Yeah. Do we have, we're gonna jump around a little bit. Do we have anyone here for public comments today? Just. Okay. Could you fill out one of these blue forms? Yeah, so, you can come to us and then fill out the blue form and hand it to Laurie afterwards, please.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
talk first. 3 minutes. Okay.
Let's start with who.
Okay, hello, my name is Kayla Chaparro-Menendez, and I'm a junior at the Parkview High School. And I would like to address the food provided during lunch. And my issue is that the food, that's being served in the cafeteria is processed food, which has great negative effects on those who consume it. And I become aware that the Parkview School District has a policy on lunch that's being offered. And the policy claims that the food is locally sourced, of course, whenever possible. And however, the main policy I'd like to address is how the lunches are supposed to be made from scratch. Park City School District has a own definition from scratch cooking. The policy says that Park City School District defines from scratch as follows, such as fresh, expertly sourced ingredients with an emphasis on single ingredient, minimally processed food. However, if you were to do a research on what is considered processed food, minimally processed food, you get the result of altered for convenience for safety with few or no additives. Examples include bagged salad greens, roasted nuts, pasteurized milk, and frozen fruit. However, if we were to do a research on what a frozen food is considered processed, we would get the result that frozen food is technically considered processed because it is altered from its natural state. And most of the lunch that's provided during school, such as the chicken tenders, pizza, croissants, cheeseburgers, and the orange chicken is processed food. We also know that the school making it clear that the school, that's the food that's being processed, that the food that's being served during the school time is processed because it falls into the category of processed or ultra processed food. And it is clear that it is processed, such as the pizza, bread, pasta, and all the other frozen meals. And there is a great number of kids in the school who would rather not eat lunch, and this is a concerning issue. And I feel like the solution to this would be to cook more from scratch, just how the culinary classes do. I don't want to cause any more work towards our lunch staff, but on the long term, it would have strong benefits and on the resources such as money and on the ingredients, and it would be more efficiently, and it would have better health impacts on those who consume it. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Yeah. Definitely have a sympathetic ear over here, that's for sure. And I can tell you my son is an echo, and he would agree with you on the food, so maybe we can pick up the nutrition another time, timely for the health department today. All right, okay, let's go back. I believe we are up to FY27 school fees, second reading.
Yes, this is also under the decision category. We had the first reading last board meeting. So it can wait, entertain questions there. We do have to have a separate hearing. It doesn't look like it's gonna be well attended. I think we're okay, but we'll need a motion under this. We'll give the decision category Nothing has changed from the first reading. Everything stays the status quo that we talked about. There is a piece of the fee that's going towards our new school accounting system, which is called school cash, which went out April 1st and will be in full swing for next year's fees. So.
Okay. Do we want to look at this in detail now, or do we want to just come back to the decision? Can we just vote on it now?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Changes.
Yeah,
no change.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept the school fee?
We have to the hearing.
Oh, we have to do the hearing first.
We have to have it on the record that we opened up for public comment on.
Okay, well then, okay, so I need to suspend the current meeting to go to.
No, we can just,
go straight
you can
to.
just say, is there any comments on?
Okay, so we have any comments on the fee schedule? Nothing.
Yeah,
Very good.
that's the requirement.
Yeah. Okay, good. Do I need a motion?
So now you can entertain a motion.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the school fees?
I get, the school please.
Second. Wonderful. Do we have any further discussion on the school fees?
No.
Then all in favor, it's not a roll call, is it? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No, the second. No, we can still motion or second.
Okay, we are at the consent agenda, and consent agenda has regular session minutes of February 24th, closed session minutes of February 24th, preschool curriculum adoption, FY 27 land trust and TSA plans, FY 26 land trust and TSSA plan amendments, easement approval, travel requests, and personnel, and board revenue and expenditures from February and March 2026.
And before you make the motion, I need to add one more item to personnel. I'd like to recommend Elaine Gaspari for hire as the next principal at Trailside Elementary School effective July 1st.
That'd be great if it actually wasn't a surprise. What did you say? Would it be great if it was a surprise? Amazing. Okay, with that addition, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to accept this consent agenda.
And
I second.
Wonderful, all in favor? Aye.
Do you have any comments?
I thank you. I thank the executive board for the opportunity. Absolutely. I loved listening to Jackie, and I think I second the most important thing is building those relationships. So I'm excited to get back to the elementary world. I have told many of my students with the high school presentations that I'm following them to the high school, and I probably scared most of them. I'm not doing that, so I'm just really excited to get back to my elementary school roots and join this amazing team of elementary principals, and Trailside become just this, continue to be this amazing school. So I'm very excited. Thank you.
Yay. Yeah.
Wonderful. I think we can skip ahead a little bit later. We covered the student fees, we covered public comments, so we're to monthly reports. Let's start with our student on the board.
This week, we all started state testing, which is not a fun time, but we're all doing it. This Thursday, freshman hide and seek is finally happening from 6 to 7. The docudrama is scheduled for May 29th, which is seniors only, as always. And then the prom theme has been decided. It is La La Land, and it's still May 30th at Deer Valley. Graduation has been announced that it is at Deer Valley, and grad events are coming, but they're not finalized yet. I don't think we will have a meeting until after Teacher Appreciation Week. So that is the first week of May, and we're really trying to step it up this year. I'm kind of leading it. So we're gonna have the Lucky Ones coffee truck come, puppies and popcorn. So Nessus is coming this year with a popcorn bar. Then we're doing bouquet making, and then baby goats and root beer floats. So it's not. Have a boat guy.
And when is this?
Baby goats are everything.
Well, what day? When's?
Monday, the fourth is the Lucky Ones coffee truck, the fifth is puppies and popcorn, the sixth is bouquet making, the seventh is goats, so if you would like to swing by, I would. The eighth is going to be, every teacher and most of the staff always get a handwritten note from us, and then a small gift with that. And then they're also getting a catered lunch that day. And then.
You guys have raised the bar.
Able to help plan at Treasure last year, and I'm kind of used to a higher standard, so I'm trying.
The high school teachers don't appreciate that.
Then on Thursday, Mr. Fine and I are going to PCSD to talk about it, and then trying to encourage community involvement as well. And so that episode will probably air the week of April 17th. And then election results for the new student council members are not coming out until tomorrow. So tomorrow we will know who our new student body president is, and then all of the elected positions. And then appointed positions will be announced next week. And then spring break is coming, and we are all so excited.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How is the reaction to graduation of Deer Valley? People like that?
I haven't heard that much about it really, but I think they're excited to, ride in on a chairlift, and it's kind of a change of scenery that only they will get to experience. So I think it'll be special for them.
Be careful and set that standard too.
Yes. I'm not, hopefully the snow won't allow us to in the future.
We can hope. When's next student council? It must be a couple of months out now, right? Because we just had one.
I think no.
Is it at the sixth?
Yes,
Yes.
makes
Yeah.
it.
It was to go to that one.
I wouldn't mind going.
So Susan and I leave.
Okay, great. We'll find out who I'm looking for.
Yes.
Down the road. With this group, they're so amazing.
That's Teacher Appreciation Week, right? That first week in May is that?
Yes.
So what day is that? May 6th?
When's it
I think it
Wednesday?
starts May 4th, and then Wednesday is bouquet making.
Okay, so not goats and floats.
That is the
That's the seventh.
I'll make sure to send out the newsletters and.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to go to those things. I should take a road trip over.
They're half the community then. Okay, do we have any employee group reports today?
Hi, Mary. I'm
Hi.
back. I'm Mary. Those of you that don't know me, I am actually the vice president, and our two co-presidents are in another meeting, so. On behalf of PCA, we would like to thank the school board and the district for our including us in our discussions and continuing discussions on our licensed professional agreement as well as our compensation negotiations. These conversations are never easy, and we are grateful for the professionalism and respect shown throughout the process. We appreciate your openness to teacher concerns and your commitment to finding collaborative solutions. Our shared goal remains student success. We recognize that achieving this requires providing teachers with a stable, supportive, and well-resourced environment where they can do their best work and help students thrive. As the district reviews this year's new legislative bills, we hope teachers have meaningful opportunities to provide input throughout the process. House Bill 273 may have significant classroom implications. It is important that our teachers have a voice in shaping how these changes are implemented. Decisions made at the legislative level can profoundly impact day-to-day instruction. Teachers' perspectives are valuable in navigating these changes effectively. As the district develops its plan, we strongly encourage ongoing collaboration with, especially with K-3 teachers, to create implementation strategies that are practical and effective for students. Employees appreciate the district office visits. These interactions help build trust and open communication between staff and leadership. Having the district office available and listening to employees shows that employee voices are valued and concerns are taken seriously. We look forward to the continued positive outcomes emerging from these discussions.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you. This is it for everybody group, sorry. Okay, then I think we are back to Randy for some capital outlay numbers.
Okay, so you have a list of requests as well as a revenue estimate for FY 27. So without going into great detail on the revenue estimate, you can see the totals on there that do balance. Keep in mind that we committed $1.5 million towards the Dozier project. With that budget coming through and the 1.9 million that we typically were putting towards the other 6 construction projects before elementaries and the Ecker and the high school, that 1.9 we're using towards helping pay the bonds on the $38 million bond maintenance. So we gotta have a thin year with the contribution to Dozier. We're 3.2 million. We've been able to balance within that. Haven't been able to do everything. We've had a lot of requests, but I think we have a good game plan for money that we have available this year to do some of these things, and we're hitting the critical areas overall. So on the sheet, don't look at it on your phone, is something that I found out. It's a lot of information, but there are 2 columns towards the right-hand side. One says amount requested, the other says amount recommended. So you can see there's a lot of zeros in the amount recommended. And there's some notes as well, that if it wasn't, some items were coupled with another request, and covered that way, but, I'd be happy to entertain any questions on the request. We're asking for, approval of these projects. The area that's coded in blue or colored in blue, those are projects that we need to get a head start on. When school gets out, there's no kids in the schools, we like to get these projects done. We wait till July to start doing some of the work, then we fall behind and start even done before school starts. So some of those we would pre-fund, we call it, if we spend some of that this year, which we take it from reserves, then next year we don't include it in ability for them to spend it because they've already spent it. So it's just kind of a pre. So we're asking for approval on these projects for the FY 27 capital budget.
Okay. Can I get a motion and then we'll have time for discussion on it?
I motion that we need to discuss this. Capital adjustments.
Okay, well, let's Kathleen, looks like you have.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the associate, must be second.
No, I was just asking, it looks like you have things to say.
No, I already talked to Randy about it. Now I understand it better. So the things in blue are the things we are doing.
So the things in blue are the things we would pre-fund in this current fiscal year.
Okay.
So they can get a head start. In many cases, that money we fund this year really gets rolled over to the next year. It just gives us the chance to start that process. And then otherwise, the colors have no indication whether it's approved or not approved or recommended. I mean, the blue obviously is recommended. It'd be that third to last column would be the amount recommended. So if it says 0, it's not being recommended, or it might be coupled with another request. If there's an amount in there, that's the amount we're estimating to spend.
And this comes out of the M&O.
This all comes out of capital.
Oh, capital.
Yeah, this is all part of our capital levy.
Okay.
That's generated through property tax. Again, not anticipating any kind of tax increase. We have to start declaring that early now, new legislation. That goes into effect next month, but yeah, based on the assessment that we get from property tax right now, we captured a little bit of growth. Those dollars coming in is what pays for this, yeah, totally separate fund from the operations.
So some of these need as if it's a maintenance thing, but, and it's okay to come out of capital outlay?
If it's
If it seems like it's maintenance, like to repair things and stuff, isn't that considered maintenance?
yeah, so we do have a repair budget. So when it comes to facilities, we are allowed to use capital money for repairs.
Oh, you can, okay.
So outside this, we do have money set aside for repairs.
Okay.
It's not as much as we've set aside in the past. I think we'll okay with the down one school. Obviously, which is an older school. So I'm not really concerned about where we are. We're spending less on projects now than we have, say, 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
And some of the large, price tags are due to like our phone system. It hasn't been replaced in 15+ years, so that's a $250,000 investment.
I didn't read any of this, though. Do we have anything on here about technology with like
Oh, there's a lot.
AirMed, you know, so that we can just log it in through the internet to get into the TVs to present and things like that?
All the Apple TVs. We can do that just through some of our supply budgets.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can make that happen. Yeah, so technology does get, there is a transfer from operations to capital. It's been going on for years. Helps support technology. Technology has set budgets, which are outside of these requests,
Okay.
which is why, I mean, the budget overall is $11 million. We're using 3.2 million to do these requests, right? Because others are tied up in bonds and tied up in Dozier and in technology, basically, and repairs, so. Yeah.
Are there any concerns about anything that we should be doing and aren't right now?
So, so the unforeseen things are the emergency type things, which is why we keep.
Well, I mean, partly that, but I meant more, were there any requests for things that we've denied that really should be done? I mean, is there?
So not from a financial standpoint, I mean, if you talk with the individual that made the request. It's right now, and so we try to work through all those. Yeah, I mean, we'd love to do everything, but just for limited budget, we're hitting the critical areas. We're hitting some things that need to be done with the phone system, we're buying a wheelchair bus, which right now I think we're transporting, in the van, our vehicle,
Yeah, Randy and I have talked about developing a 5-year plan. Everything can't happen at once. We can stagger it. You know, from elementaries, they're saying, hey, we need a bit of a facelift. We walk into Ecker Hill in the high school, we have these incredible spaces. You walk into the community center preschool, you walk into our front office, main entrance at our 4 elementary schools, and they feel dated. So those are one of the areas we're gonna look at and develop a plan. It just can't all happen at once.
Is this number consistent with what we did last year? I don't remember last year.
this number is actually less than last year because we are contributing to the Dozier project, and we're contributing some of the money to not construction, but to bonds payment. So yeah, the actual request amount that and it'll go up next year, just the way we've committed some things. I mean, the Dozier project's a one-time cost, right? So, in a year, we won't have that expense, but, it's just a lean year this year, so. But if we have we have a contingency built in, we also have repairs built in. So those things need to be fixed at schools. We also have fund balance, so if we have a roof issue, or we have a boiler go down, or some of those things that are high ticket items, we can still cover those.
And some of these requests are aligned to the facilities, and we kind of said, let's press pause until the facilities come online and we are able to identify the need. We don't know what we don't know until we start using these on a regular basis. So we're
There are some things there for facilities that are not open yet.
So like, look at the custodial and athletic UTV, right? We funded one, out of district funds, but there's a request for an additional one. It's like, I don't know, let's wait till the facilities come online so we can see if that's really necessary.
What is our phone system? What are you guys looking at?
Zoom actually has a phone platform now, and it will actually, allow you to assign a unique phone number that you can use to text and call without having a cell phone plan per se. But Zoom is one of the options we're looking at. Because of the cost, we'll have to go out to RFP.
So are we looking to do handheld phones still or do it through our computers? Handheld still.
I'm gonna jump in and say that more than likely, we will still need desk phones in every single room. And that is because you never know who's gonna be in there, right? If you've got a community member using that space, but the only phone is tied to the teacher's computer and the teacher left, but they have a medical emergency, they still need to be able to call. So I would guess, having been part of any of the discussions, that the phone systems they're looking at would be a way to combine the two, right? Like, if you, as a school board member, needed to have a district phone, having a setup that would allow physical phones in the classroom, but also allow you to have a virtual phone number assigned to you would probably be what we're going for. Does that sound decent?
Yes.
I'm jumping in and having
I'm
been
just
part of
thinking
any
like further, like
conversation.
district office, you know, because my experience, handheld phones are expensive to replace in a new system. And so where possible that you could just do it through people's computers in a district level where you're not with students, can you do a hybrid kind of situation, or is it all or none? But I guess you don't know until you guys start going out to the
Joe Stout's done a lot of research on this and worked with other districts as well as to what the best practices are.
I do think there'll be areas where we can be more efficient. I just don't know what that will look like. Joe will lead that process and bid it out.
We switched over the state level to no handheld, which saved each department a lot of money. And it was, you just talk to people through your computer. Which saves a lot of money because the hardware is what costs so
Yeah.
much.
Depends on the system.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's, I'm saying, you know, it's not ideal for all situations, but if you can save on hardware in some situations, especially at this building. When you don't have the public coming in and to use a phone, so say in your office. Kind of thing.
I mean, I can speak for myself, I rarely use my desk phone, right? And I would say that's true for most executive leadership because we're very mobile.
Yeah, right. And so if you had your laptop with you, somebody called at the landline that we currently have, it would come right through your computer.
There's let's just say that we know that there are lots of options and lots of research will be done before any decisions are made.
Yeah, Joe was part of this entire process, technology wise, it was very helpful. There was a lot of things he said, hey, I got another way I can do this.
Yeah.
The whole team was really good about getting down to that 3.2 minute, so.
Great.
Yeah, we feel good about where we're at.
So I think it would be great to see a plan on this. I mean, I think we're pretty much aligned on, being responsible with taxpayer money here. But at the same time, some things have to happen, right? And it would be great to see a defined plan for what we're doing over a period of time. Okay, anything else on this? All right, can I get a motion to approve the capital outlay for FY 27?
And motion to approve capital outlay for 26-27, is it? Or 25-26?
FY 26, 27.
26-27. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and with that, I believe we've covered everything we had to cover for today. Can I get a motion to adjourn until our next regularly scheduled meeting?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic.